What's up, YouTube? So really quickly, I want to do a walk around of my grow bag garden. Right here is the Ponderosa lemon variety. I haven't been out here in a while, so the weeds are getting kind of overgrown, but it's in a 20-gallon grow bag, and they're basically keeping the tree shaded. So, and I haven't been fertilizing, so please excuse the yellowing leaves or whatnot. But other than that, the trees are producing fruit, and that was my main focus this year. Finding a suitable no dig, no till method to plant all of my foods. So this is the ruby red grapefruit variety, and that's producing. I have a lot of deer damage going on back here too, so I'm working on keeping them out because they've been tearing up my squash and watermelon vines, and I can't deal with that because I'm growing some very rare varieties, and the deer are eating up those rare varieties, so I have to get on that ASAP. This is the lemon drop watermelon variety. I saved seed from it earlier this year, a couple months ago, and then I planted this probably about a month and a half ago or 2 months, and then I replanted the saved seed, and now it's beginning to produce fruit. If I'm not mistaken, I planted the seeds in August. So this is lemon drop, and it's flowering profusely. I have a few plants. Some are growing faster than others, depending on where they're planted at, which is quite interesting. See, my bananas are growing nicely. This is the Gros Michel variety, Grosmichel. Gros Michel. These aren't planted yet. This is a couple grapevines. This right here is my red navel, but there's no fruit on that yet. A couple of tropical trees, sapodilla. Another lemon. I believe this is the Persian lime. Matter of fact, this is Persian lime, and that's in a 20-gallon grow bag, coexisting with an ant pile on the side of it. Ooh, big old swallowtail laying eggs. This is my Kaffir lime variety. So let's go check out some of this deer damage on my melon vines. I really made this video because I wanted to show off the watermelon plants since they're doing so absolutely well. You can see these pineapples here. I planted those close, and there's about 7 of them in here, and they're doing quite well. Here's a hybrid watermelon I planted. I don't really grow hybrids, but decided I'd give one a try. You can see here's some cantaloupe that was bust open and eaten, and the ants are finishing off what's left of that. This is the this is a Navajo yellow cantaloupe. Yeah, the Navajo yellow muskmelon or cantaloupe, whatever it's whichever they call it. But it's producing plenty fruits. You can see these vines right here are taking off quite well. I haven't been training them. Normally, I'll train the vines to run across the weed mat, but I haven't been out here to train them. But still in all, with them growing just in their own natural way, I say they're doing quite well. No fertilizer, no compost, except for the mix that I used to fill these grow bags. I used about 80 pounds of compost mix. You can see those leaves are looking nice. They have some size to them. The plants are flowering nicely. Over here, ooh, look at that one. Over here is the Illinois watermelon variety. You can see how their leaf is just larger than my hand. So, and everything out here is planted the same way, no fertilizers, etc., etc. All right, and I also don't water. Let me mention that. I don't come out here, so I don't water. That's quite obvious. But you can see how much these vines, and as I said, I didn't train them, but you can see how much these vines are just taking over, which is actually what you want with watermelons. I was seeing a lot of female blooms. I'm not seeing them now. Here's one right here that opened up today. I wasn't out here. If I was, I would have pollinated it. No, here's one that actually opened up. No, so this one opened up yesterday, and then this one opened up today, and it's just beginning to close. Now I could pollinate it right now, but I'm not gonna be sure if it's a true breed. Some vines going that way. They just taking over. I got honey, cantaloupe, honeydew mixed in there. Whatever this melon is, I have to look at my list, and then I'll trace the vine back to where it's growing from, and now I know exactly what fruit this is. But there's a lot of muskmelons out here, a lot of watermelons, more watermelon female blooms, and you can see they're fairly recent, these watermelon blooms. So the plants are at their peak. They're taking off basically. Here's an Illinois watermelon that had a bunch of ants on it, and it didn't seem like it was gonna get any larger. And the way it sounded, it made me think that it was ready to eat. So I pulled that one off. But I'm assuming it wasn't pollinated well. So let's keep checking it out. I want to show y'all. Look at those leaves back there. I really want to show y'all my Siscone squash vine and my Hopi yellow watermelon vines, because those were telling them deer just demolished my stuff. It's crazy. Some more watermelon vines growing quite well. I think that's the Bradford variety. I may be wrong. So this year I planted kind of late in the season, and I also was trying to test how late into the season I can actually plant. And I also was trying to test the drought tolerance of certain varieties. So you see certain grow bags were just filled with plants, were filled with lush plants, and then you see other grow bags are scarce. Have a couple weeds growing in them with probably one vine right here. So I'm gonna go back on my list and I'm gonna see what varieties didn't perform well for me, and then I'm gonna take note of that. And then I'm also gonna see what varieties did perform well for me, and I'm gonna also take note of that. You see, not every watermelon vine, this is a watermelon vine right here, and not everyone does well for me in my zone 9 climate. Here's a squash. You can see they're not really vining out. But then I also have other varieties that are vining out. Deer had some beans interplanted with my corn and my bananas. Deer came and ate all of that. I got a couple corn coming up. I don't have too much hope for those. You can see these vines are just severed off at the ends. That's purely deer damage, and that's the Hopi yellow. There's another Hopi yellow. The vines are just, all the edges are eaten off. You must have sweet blooms, I'm assuming. So now I'm gonna go and show y'all the Siscone variety. I'm gonna show y'all a couple more citrus trees, and that's that. So this is the Siscone squash. I got this variety from 2 Seeds in a Pod, Heirloom Seed Company. This is a Turkish variety. It comes from Turkey. You can see these shoots were just eaten off. All out to here. All the shoots are just eaten off. But you can also see some new flowers being produced for tomorrow. So I'm gonna start keeping watch out here, because this is a rare variety and it's basically not available on 2 Seeds in a Pod website anymore. So I want to be able to save seed from these heirlooms. Now these varieties were planted late. Right here, you can see the deer hoofs. I mean, that's a telltale sign right there. More plants eaten. They skipped over some of them. And this row right here was planted late, and these are starting to actually vine out still. And I'm assuming frost is gonna be here in the next 40 days, first frost. I say 45 days, 50 days max. So I'm hoping I can squeeze some melons out from, or some fruits out from each of these vines. at least one fruit from each vine. I want to be able to hand pollinate. So right here is the Tohono O'odham yellow meter watermelon variety that y'all saw me harvest earlier in the season. And I basically saved seeds and I replanted those, and you can see they're growing. Another muskmelon variety. So this grow bag method is a success. I literally just plant on top of the ground. You can see all the grass right here. I'm gonna eventually have the rows to where these grow bags are connecting all throughout the row. So instead of weeds being on side the grow bags, it'll be a grow bag on side of the grow bag. And it'll continue like that for 200 feet down. So as I said, some plants aren't growing well, others are doing terrifically. And that was the whole point of this experiment. Many people were saying it wasn't gonna work, but obviously it is. And then considering how late into the season I planted, a lot of these varieties were planted at the end of July, beginning of August. And as you can see, we're getting some nice production on them. We're getting some nice flower production with no fertilizers or anything yet. And I also sold multiple seeds per bag. So that's about, some of the bags have upwards of 15 plants. So I'm gonna go and show some of the citrus trees, and then I'm gonna wrap this video up, y'all. But what I'm gonna start doing, I'm gonna take note of all these varieties that's growing well, and I'm gonna start planting these early in the season. And I'm gonna make these my go-to varieties, and then I'm gonna start counting the days to maturity, and then I'm gonna find a way to where I can start succession planting all of these varieties based on their days to maturity, and just other factors depending on if it's a early or if it's a late maturing melon that can be stored for long periods, or if it's a early maturing melon that could be stored for long periods or medium periods, or if it's a late maturing melon that has a short shelf life, you know, stuff like that. I'm gonna figure out a succession sowing schedule. So right here I have this is the Moro blood orange, no fruit on there yet. 20-gallon grow bag. Walk through here. Right here I have pumpkin mandarin, and it has plenty of fruit on it, and they're actually starting to get a little orange tinge to them, which means they're beginning to ripen up. Kind of small, but plenty of fruit on there for me to enjoy. Let's see. Show a couple more trees. I have about 30 citrus trees, 29 or 30. So right here is brown select satsuma. Tag kind of worn out. Brown select satsuma, and this one is loaded. This tree has the most fruit out of all my trees at the moment, and this thing is loaded. So each branch has at least one fruit on it. So that's that. Here's my Dancy tangerine. This is the newest one out here, so there's no fruit on this yet. Hasn't even started leafing out or branching out. And then my sunburst tangerine. I planted this one in the most shaded area because it wasn't doing well in sunlight, and now it's starting to put out a lot of growth. All these dead branches were from the tree actually being in sunlight, because I don't water. Take that in mind. So these citrus trees don't get any water from me. Only nature waters it. So that's where all these most of them dead branches came from. But all of this new leaf growth came after I put it in the shade. So you can grow citrus in shade, definitely, especially in these hotter climates. So that's what I have going on right now, y'all. I'm gonna work on this deer issue, and I'll keep y'all updated as I continue to progress working on this acre plus area. All right, y'all.